to Andy and Dave Daily right here on the Muskegon Channel. I'm Andy O'Reilly, humble public servant. Dave Cackley, somewhat self-indulgent.
I'm humble.
What?
What are you talking about? Self-indulgent? Get the hell out of here.
Well, there's a hint of vanity there. And that's okay.
Okay, vanity, yes. A little bit of vanity. As vain as a bald man can be, I am, yes.
Don't go getting all self-defensive and everything. Shut up, I'm pouring coffee a minute here. Take some concentration. All right, there we go. So, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, Dave's here. Hey, good morning. How are you?
Yeah. You're talking about my vanity and my self-indulgence.
I'm tired.
I know, obviously. You're a little cranky, a little disgruntled.
I don't know how it's turned into when you get to the end of a week, you just feel like a skid mark. You'd build toward the end of the week when you were younger, right? It was like, oh, boom, boom, boom. Oh,
yeah. Give me a Friday. Yeah.
Now it's just, my dad used to use the term, and I'll bring this up for the youth. So they can maybe apply this to their lives someday. And this is one of those old-timey terms that could be relevant once again. The term is shot at and missed and shit at and hit. That's what I feel like on a Friday.
Oh, God. Well, today's only Thursday.
I know, but we're inching our way toward Friday, you know?
Right,
so
yes.
Here I am in the chute, ready to feel like that tomorrow.
So now let me ask you, because we talk about when we were younger, we were always working towards the weekend. Now, Friday, I didn't know if you were going to this or not. I knew you were invited to it, the Val Lego going away party. Denise Pritchard also leaving the station here. She's been a long time producer. Both great people to work with and a lot of fun. And there's going to be a lot of people from the past showing up at this soiree as well. So it should be a good time. Are you going to be gracing us with your presence? I usually do not go to any events at all. I just don't do it. But I decided, like, you know what? I'm gonna go to this, and everybody's gonna have a good time. And is Andy O'Reilly gonna be there?
Dear friends, all of them. I'd like to say that Val Lego is a talent beyond the wildest imagination. She's done amazing at TV 13 as the health reporter and other reporter and stuff like that. If you don't know Val Lego's resume, it's big and it's stacked. So yeah, and Denise Pritchard. Let's just talk about and how do I want to describe Denise? Denise is an anchor of the business that nobody ever knew about. Because she's behind the camera.
Yeah,
she is what you would call a staple of the industry who never got the spotlight because she didn't need it.
Right.
She is a stalwart of the business and an incredible human being.
People don't understand. I don't mean to interrupt, but people really don't understand. I've realized this, especially in TV, especially in whether you're talking at the national level or at the local level. The people behind the scenes, they're kind of talked about, and occasionally anchors, we want to mention yada, yada, yada. These are the people that do the vast majority of the heavy lifting.
We got one here.
Like you see a David Muir on ABC News. He could literally slide in there at 6:28, just before 6:30, and be out the door at 7:01.
Right.
All the work is done for him.
Right.
Like, seriously, it's all put out there, and that's the way it is. You got producers who do the writing, who put these programs together that have to time it all out, and it is rigidly timed. Then you got to eliminate stories, you got to edit on the fly. It is the toughest work in this business, and it is completely. And again, these are people who are largely anonymous. But again, they do the real work.
We've got Derek here. And that's he's the guy, right? Everybody's got one.
Yeah.
Now on to me and your question about the party.
Yes.
I'll be transparent. I am in a work in progress on some of my social anxiety.
Okay.
I may not. I've always been a bit of a wallflower.
You're not comfortable at these things. I know this about you.
I'm really not. I think I may be a little more comfortable around a TV and radio crew, but I just have a remarkably hard time sliding into a social situation and blending in. I can't hear very well. I've always been kind of awkward in a small group setting, and then what's the other thing I wanted to mention here too? I've gotten to a point where it's much easier for me to just get shoved out on stage, go do what I have to do, and I would prefer to be in front of 10,000 people instead of 5.
Right.
It's just so much easier to, hey, here's a great big crowd, go out there and do a little bit of this, that, and the other thing, and we'll worry about that later. I'm weird.
Yeah. And you know what? It's weird that it's not that uncommon a thing either. I remember years ago talking to Greg Daniel Freebeer from the Freebeer and Hot Ones show, has the same issue you do with this. Not comfortable in these type of social settings for whatever reason. It's an interesting idiosyncrasy that some people in this industry have, just not really being able, for whatever reason, just get in their own head and get anxious in smaller social situations. Although there's going to be a lot of people for this one, but again, it's more of an intimate setting than
it's
so maybe you're used to.
Here's one of my glitches, and I'll be right up front and honest with you. Everybody will talk about the early days and when we were kids we did this,
right?
And what do I throw in there? We were out back of the LC Walker Arena getting hammered with Metallica, and then they all look at me like, "Oh, bullshit." And it's like, no, that, and I don't fit in. How do you blend that story into common?
Well, see, here you're with your people. You're with people who have like similar,
I know, right? But
stories.
Then in that situation,
Jen Pasqua, interviewing Trump or something,
right? And then you get into that situation where it's like, oh yeah, well, I've talked to Moonlanders and I've talked to the guy, and it's just I don't know. So
and nobody really cares, but it's like,
I know
you're an interesting dude, and you're a friendly, you're that guy. You're just kind of the, hey, Andy's here, and people like to see you out. Now, I get you got this thing, and I get it, and I can appreciate it. I know it's harder. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever asked you this before. Since you don't drink anymore, and that probably provided you with, back in the day, some social lubrication, is that an issue too in and of itself? I'm assuming.
And I'll tell you why. Because it was never a social lubricant for me. It was, I'm drinking, I'm getting hammered, and that's that. It was never.
But did it make you more comfortable in a situation like that? If you knew you were just going to be lit up anyway, I'm just curious.
We'd be in our 20s, and we'd be going to the bar, and everybody'd be like, hey, where's the girls? And I'd be like, hey, where's the booze? We got to get there before quarter hour gets over with.
So wait, the alcohol wasn't a way, because this was the way it was with everybody else, especially if you were a guy. Yeah. The alcohol was just a way to be able to talk semi-coherently and stress-free to women.
No, I could care less about the women. I was just ready to party.
Okay, well that's wow.
It was never about me going to the meat market. It was like, how can I get this booze in me as fast as I can? And, even down to the point where Magoo's would have one sitting on the corner of the bar at 10:15 on Sundays because they knew I was coming.
I still have a very vague recollection of before I ever met you of that, because I would go to Magoo's on like Sunday nights. It was the only bar on Sunday night that was open. I remember, I have a vague recollection. This may be misremembering.
Yeah.
But I believe I saw you there a few times. So,
hey, the beer store on Monroe Street was closed. I had to hit Magoo's. That was my home. How do you get back to Sparta sober? You can't do that.
Well, we'd like you got time to decide. I understand if you don't, but anyway.
All right. Well, wow us with some news, would you?
All right, let's get into it. Job cuts are hitting the tech sector. Microsoft cutting 10,000 of its workers. The company says the layoffs were due to, quote, macroeconomic conditions and changing customer priorities. Yeah, we just don't have as much money as we had before. Right. Anyway, those firings represent about 5% of the company's workforce. It's interesting. The tech industry is responsible for a lot of people's jobs being replaced. Without all these advancements in technology, you wouldn't have as many people out of work. Now, a lot of people are out of work now because they choose to be, but it's sad for those people. But I'm sure Microsoft will have them in. Have no fear. We will be moving forward. Blah 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 blah. Company momentum, blah, 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 blah. I want you to understand everything at the company will be fine. These other
we'll
people
be great
don't
here. Don't worry about us. And then everybody that gets the letter
fine.
sitting there like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me get the right angle. There we go. There.
Yeah. Good God. Uh-huh. Bill Gates is going to get himself a nice new sweater. So
we hope so.
Moving on. Actor John Larroquette confirmed a nearly 40-year-old rumor earlier this week. The star of the newly rebooted Night Court says he was paid in weed for the 1974 horror film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The 75-year-old Emmy Award-winning actor says he was given marijuana in lieu of cash for narrating the prologue of the low-budget cult classic. That was back in the day. And comedians have talked about this too, like being comedians at comedy clubs. I think back in the 80s, they would have their choice of getting paid. You could be paid all in cash, or you could be paid in cash and cocaine, or you could be paid completely in cocaine. And a lot of them took the cocaine. And then, in the 70s, it was more, I assume lewds would have been in there too, along with the marijuana.
Right.
But yeah, this was not an uncommon, especially if because people forget that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was basically an indie film,
right?
And that just ballooned up and became this, horror classic. But there was not a lot of money for those in the movie.
No,
at least
the other one from back in that day that should have never been made but turned into kind of a cult classic was I Spit on Your Grave. Remember that one?
I remember, yes. Oh. I don't remember watching it,
God.
I remember the movie, yes.
We rented it back in the day before we had a VCR or any of that kind of crap. We'd go rent those big laser disc players. Remember the big laser discs?
Yes.
So we'd go rent that thing up in Rockford, and you could get them for like $1. And my buddy had a travel trailer parked out behind his parents' house, and we threw a TV in that and an extension cord and all this crap. And we're sitting there watching I Spit on Your Grave like we're getting away with something. And the whole thing is this girl is gang raped and she gets her revenge. And she seduces all these clowns one by one. And there's a scene where she gets her revenge in a bathtub with a machete, and certain parts of this gentleman are removed. And I can just remember being a bunch of teenage boys sitting in this trailer watching this, and the shock and horror on our face.
Mm-hmm. That
he just cut off his junk. Oh my God!
That'll teach you to behave yourself,
you right there,
young people.
There's a lesson.
That should be In fact, I would say that should be mandatory viewing for any teenager between the ages of 16 and 19.
No,
I think. Okay, this is why you behave yourself, young person. You got it.
Shame on you.
Be a gentleman.
That's right.
There you go. Finally, commissioners in Muskegon County approved renovations to the Hall of Justice. The county will now move forward with improvements to the hall. The renovations are estimated at around $12.6 million. I think about renovations with buildings and stuff, and as long as they're good in decent shape, and you don't have a lot of leaks, and there's not like asbestos in the ceiling, I think you can maybe leave things. I mean, $12.6 million seems like a bit much, but it feels like some of this money that's spent on renovations occasionally may be better spent elsewhere. And that's just me. I understand, because I don't view these things the same way others do.
It needs some work inside. It needs some updating in the outside of it. We could use a new facade. I don't know what the plans are or anything like that, but when you look at the Muskegon Hall of Justice from the outside, a fresh coat of paint can't hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, 12.6 million in a fresh coat of paint. I mean, let's say you and I do it for. What do you say? You and I throw our hats in the ring. What? We'll do this. We'll do this for $4 million. $4 million. You and I go in there. We put on our hard hats. We get. Yeah, there you go. We'll go down to the local Lowe's, pick up some paint, and we'll have at it.
Well, we're Home Depot.
There you go.
But that's how that works.
We'll save. Okay, there you go. We'll save the city and the county some cash.
All right.
Just saying. Throwing my hat out there. All right, finally, sports. Sparty takes on Rutgers in college hoops. Michigan faces Maryland. That's sports.
All right, so it's been a week of miserable failure with your knowledge of Martin Luther King Jr., so we're going to switch things up.
Wait, hold on. Wait a second. I got Morehouse College.
Well, you did one.
You did not. Yes, I
averaging
got
it
Morehouse
out. That's 2-1. That's a week of miserable failure.
Okay, fine.
Adjectives, not adverbs. Adjectives. I don't want to get you described with big words that describe words. All right. Okay. $400. Describing food fit to be eaten according to Jewish law, it can also mean on the up and up.
I believe, and I'm 99.9% sure this is correct, the word you're looking for is kosher.
Kosher is absolutely correct. Congratulations, Dave.
Boom!
23,800. 23,800 in the hole. That's kosher.
Boom.
Look at you. Wow. Out of here. On to Friday we go. Have yourself a great Thursday, Dave.
See ya!
Happy Thursday, Muskegon. Another storm system is expected early this morning, so let's look at your forecast brought to you by Trinity Health. Your Thursday weather headlines show a wintry mix is expected initially, but that will be very brief, at least here in Muskegon County, as warmer air will spill in, resulting in a complete conversion to all rain showers by your morning commute on Thursday. So expect a pretty wet morning commute, and then colder weather bringing more wintry-like weather is expected by the end of January. Now, temperature-wise today, we won't really be that cold with temperatures in the lower 40s, which is pretty much what we have seen the past several days. So your future radar shows at 1 a.m., so early Thursday morning, that mix will arrive here in Muskegon County. However, by the time we get to 7 a.m., and even before that, all of that mix will turn into rain showers, so your morning commute will likely just be wet with just wet roads as well. So not too impactful, but if you're traveling well to the north of us, especially north of Ludington, expect some heavy snow there. And then by the time we get to 1 p.m., you can see we'll have a brief moment in time where we'll be dry during the afternoon on Thursday. However, more rain showers will be possible in the evening hours around dinner time, especially to our southeast. And then as colder air wraps around, as that low pressure system moves off to the east, all that rain shower activity will move into snow showers as the colder air moves in, which means we'll have a little bit of snow to contend with for Friday morning's commute, but we're not expecting much, if any, snow accumulation out of that. Now, looking at rainfall, a widespread 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of rain is expected across the region, and then the further north you go, that is where the chances of snow will likely increase. And you can see that on our snowfall probability map of seeing 1 inch or more of snow here in Muskegon County. We only have a 27% chance of at least seeing an inch of snow, so I'm not expecting any snow accumulation, at least here in Muskegon County and points to the south. However, if you're traveling to the north, especially north of Ludington, like I said, expect several inches of snow there, as they are in a winter storm watch as of now. So for your Thursday, expect a high of 42 with rain showers likely, especially in the morning hours. And then by the time we get to the evening, we'll likely have another round of likely rain showers converting to snow showers later in the night with a low of 32. And then thankfully, we're not expecting the morning commute on Friday to be that hazardous, as temperatures will be right around freezing, and we're not expecting much snow accumulation on Friday either. And then by the time we get to Sunday, another storm system is possible, bringing light snow showers. Not looking too significant out of that either. And then by the time we get to the middle of next week, colder weather will likely return with winter-like conditions to finish off the month of January. And that's your Thursday forecast brought to you by Trinity Health on the Muskegon Channel. And I'm Colton Woods Weather, and have a wonderful day today.